unfortunately.
Hi everybody, welcome to Same Shit Different Day. This is Marching into Madness. I'm Bailey and this is
Raza.
Raza. And then as always, because we can't keep the pace of a conversation, we have Wine Mom here to help mediate things. Say hi, Wine Mom.
Hello, hi.
All right, folks, it's been a hectic start to 2021. We've seen some fucking people getting rich for the wrong reasons. We've seen politics blowing up, and we've been trapped inside. So, Raza, I heard you had an itch to scratch with some
Really?
celebrities profiting off of the fact that everyone's stuck at home real bored.
I get it's not really an itch. It's more like I wish I could have your life and do the things that you do and stuff. Because if I my dad's here, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say this extremely subtle, but if I do what Seth Rogan is doing, I would get it. I would be thrown in jail and stuff. And I do think that him and Jim Belushi, while they're doing great,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they are using their star power to exploit a gray area. I should say.
True.
Okay, so do you think the gray area is the fact that they have the privilege to be able to grow the pot and make money off of it, or is this like
Yeah.
yeah?
Yes, great. Because it gives them a a breathing room to do what they can do because of their stature, as opposed to if you and I do that, it'll be looked down upon and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, did go ahead, Lily, go.
No, I was just gonna say, to Roz's point, it's valid, right? Because as celebrities, they're in a position of almost as if they can't get in trouble. And
Yeah.
I think it kind of shows the privilege. In one of the articles, and I'm probably out of context, but they were talking about how smoking so much weed on movie sets and during planning movies and writing movies and scripts and stuff like that, coming up with these great ideas while smoking large amounts of pot, but also all this money that they're making off of the culture of smoking lots of pot. Where is that going? Is it coming back to the people who are being affected by the laws of smoking pot? Because those guys they're breaking the law essentially. Is it legal where they're doing large amounts of pots at that time to film these movies? So I can see where Raza's point is.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
it's just like what they're doing is great. Bringing more attention to the the world, but it's just kind of interesting to see them do it. Again, it's not like a dig at Seth Rogen. It's just he can get away with it because he's not from a certain demographic or a certain subset, and he's also rich and stuff. So it doesn't help. It helps that he's fucking able to do these things without sounding like a broken record.
The rich white guy demographic.
It's a rich white guy demographic, but how do you feel? Because at least Seth Rogen does advocacy. He stands up for stuff that matters. So does that justify his position a little bit? Because at least he's bringing light to the cause. Because a Jim Belushi's just in there to make money, like he did with his wine company. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know he had a wine company.
Well, I just think it's common for celebrities to see where the trends are in the world and then go, oh, how can I also profit off this trend?
Yeah.
And I mean, at the time of Pineapple Express, who our age group, our demographic, we were high 90% of the time. That was the trend, partying, drinking, crazy stuff. And it just fit into the trend of what was happening currently. So of course they profited off that coincidence, of course.
Yeah.
And so I get what Raza's saying is it's kind of unfair, but at the same time, can you really knock them? It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's sort of like I'm I don't hate it, but like I do see it all like a tonal thing. Like if it was
Mhm.
like say if what's his face Kevin Hart did this, he would still be able to do it because he's rich, but
Mhm.
there would be that weird undertone of him being
Significant.
yeah
Significant.
yeah like there would be this weirdness of us like Kevin Hart, who happens to be a black guy, and he's also
Mhm.
doing this illegal thing and stuff.
Well, think about Snoop Dogg, right? He's been like pot is basically his. I was reading your mind, Bailey.
Thank you.
Snoop Dogg's entire brand is smoking pot, and it wasn't like he wasn't okay. Like white people didn't start to accept him until he started cooking with Martha Stewart, and they were smoking pot together, and everybody was like, "Oh, cute! Like Snoop Dogg and a rich old white lady smoking pot and cooking food together. We're so into this." It's like, okay, he's been doing that literally his entire career, but we'll do it. Well, okay, sure.
100%. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like the reason why they hopped on it too, because it's like now it looks normalized, because I don't want to sound like I'm a dick, but like when
Mhm.
white people touch a trend, it becomes normal and stuff, as
Right.
opposed to like if brown people do it, it's just like weird and like, kind of like uncultured.
Well, I think Canada made it okay by legalizing it, and then
Yeah,
a lot of these people, because as unpopular, like so as far as mainstream media goes, it's usually American styled mainstream content that you take in. So it's
mhm,
very rare that you see mainstream Canadian content being talked about. And so now with the switch of us having legalization and them not, people are
yeah,
more interested in what's going on in the culture of Canada. And so that's the big trend right now is all the Canadians over there who've been growing weed in BC like wildfires already anyways. Now they're so cool because they're doing it all over the entirety of the place and it's great
yeah,
and this is so cool and now they want to talk about it and it's becoming more popularized. That's how I
100%.
see it anyway.
How do you
It's
feel?
just
Have you
like
ever heard those stories that people proposed that formerly incarcerated people in the States, as a result of the reforms, they should offer them like micro grants to start their own weed distribution companies?
it's a good idea, actually. Because
Yeah.
it would bring money into the or the yeah money into the
Mm.
e-
Because
economy too,
my biggest
and
thing
it would
about this
also
legalization, right, is even let's
Mm.
say we get the amends and the people that were incarcerated for possession charges for something that is legal now, how do you
mhm,
make it back to them? Because that was like years of their life. So you gotta give them something,
yeah
you
I
know?
mean, I think it's definitely a good idea, but it's not going to happen and I'll tell you why. It's going to heavily oversaturate the market and the government's not going to be able to profit on it the same way they do now.
the government
So,
wants
forget it.
yeah the
Exactly.
government want well, like
Yeah.
yeah if it makes money, the government is gonna get in there and stuff.
That's literally the only reason why they legalized it cuz they were like, "You know what? We can't get in the market from outside, so we got to do this instead." Sorry, Bailey, go ahead. I keep taking your
No,
points.
no, well, it's that, and then because I was even chuckling because I was talking to a
Mm.
dispensary owner about this because he's like, it's kind of funny that like you can still go inside a liquor store during the pandemic because they make more taxes off of liquor, but you're
Mhm.
not allowed to
Yeah,
come inside the dispensary and browse.
Mhm.
yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, who's to say that, like, as far as essentials go, right? Because there's this whole conversation around, I guess this is kind of derailing the topic, but there's this whole conversation about what should and what shouldn't be deemed essential. And there was a huge argument for people saying, why is the liquor store open? It doesn't make any sense. It's not an essential service. Like, people don't need to get drunk to survive. But like actually some people need to drink to survive because
Yeah,
they have an addiction. But it's like
yeah,
who's to say that people who've been relying on pot that you've recently legalized, like, a lot of people use that for pain, headaches, just general focus, like lifestyle, and not in the same sense of like smoking a cigarette. People need to like go outside, smoke a cigarette for a minute, come back inside, and a lot of people use weed that same way,
yeah.
as like a natural medicine. So it's like, who's to say that that's not deemed an essential service and should be people should be able to go in and purchase what they need, right?
Yeah. I
No,
guess
I
because
agree. You need to provide
there's
access. It's like a historically nerdy thing, right? Like if you can't
Yeah.
have access to recreational drugs, your population will riot. Like,
It's
sorry,
true.
Raza.
no, because like I just think it's because there's still like, even though it's legalized here, there's still that taboo. Like, oh, you're a pot smoker, you must be like a loser or some shit like that. Because like there's
I,
still that weird like old school, and like as much as like we have come up, like as
mhm.
like as we have progressed since it's legalized, we're still like not like perf like it's still not perfect.
It's it's really funny that you say that because I think back, my old boss is a very heavy pothead. He's a younger guy, so I guess it's not too far out of his generation. So he's a big heavy pothead. And one of his clients, his like brother started a weed company, and so there's making edibles. And so I remember them like sneaking the edibles into his office, and I was sitting there at the front desk, and I was like, "What are you two idiots doing?" Like sneaking edibles into his office, and I was just like, "You guys know that's illegal now, right? Like you don't need to hide that." But it's like it's the judgment of all the clients that are like older and like little kids who aren't old enough to do it yet, and that there's still that stigma around it. Not me. I mean, I keep jars of pot around my apartment and joints and stuff, and my grandmother's just like, "Can't you put that away?" And I'm like, "No, I won't put it away. It's my house."
Does a
That's
part of
fine.
you ever miss, like, I talked to some of my stoner homies. Do you ever miss the, like, sneakiness of it, though? Like, feeling like a
Yes.
rebel, like, having to hide?
Yeah.
Yeah?
100%.
Absolutely not. Because even in high school I didn't hide it. Like I remember one time going into a class with my philosophy teacher, and he looks me dead in the eyes and he's like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "Well, because I have class." He's like, "You're high as fuck." And I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "You should go home." And I said, "Okay." Like I never hid it then, so I don't know why I would hide it now, I guess.
Oh
It
man, like
doesn't bother me.
I had just like horror stories that I could share, but the timing isn't right right now.
That's okay. What was my one? I have a good one. Our homie from New Brunswick, he went to college with us. I'll tell you after. I was with him downtown. We had rolled up a blunt. We're walking around, and because I don't give a fuck, I'm from the city. We're smoking. We're just walking by. We're standing by City Hall. We're walking like across in front of City Hall by all these cops, right by the Eden Center, and this guy's like sketching out, like he was panicking. It's like, bro, it's okay. I'm from the city.
Yeah.
Like, what's the cop really gonna do? He's not gonna write up a whole thing to take you to prison over one little blunt. Like,
well, I just find like in Canada they never really care. I mean, of course our experiences are different, and I was young then, so they gave me a pass because I was young and stupid. But I mean, there's been a lot of people who've been detrimentally affected by that. So not to negate that experience at all, but I think for myself as a white person, like I didn't experience any issues.
I
Like,
don't
right, I didn't experience issues. Like I smoked pot, it was fine. Like my aunt smoked pot, like it was never a big deal for me. And so I never really cared. But I think once they started giving out medical cards, I think that's kind of when people were like, oh, so if people can just say, oh, I do this for medical reasons, cops are less likely to care. And like people who are carrying cards, and apparently it was relatively easy to get cards. I never looked into it because I was like, I'm going to smoke it either way. So I'm not going to wait for a card.
I shit you not, I almost did, and I used my stutter as a reason, and it almost worked.
But I mean, but I think like, but seriously though, once the cards came out and people were like, "Oh, I have a medical card for marijuana," that's really when you could tell the government was going to slowly go into legalization, because they were like, "Well, we're handing out these cards like candy. Like, what's the point in policing the system anymore?" It's not like they were making money off these medical cards in reality. So
yeah,
might as well make money by legalizing it.
yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
they just want their
the
tax money.
Yeah, exactly.
Since it's legalized, it's like still a freaking mess, and that's why like where I come, like how like I think like it shouldn't be legalized, but it should be decriminalized at least, because like the laws, like I was even trying to explain the laws to a cousin of mine in Pakistan, and I got confused because like, oh, this amount you can carry at you at once, but not on you as a person. You can have it at home, but not on you as a person. And he looked at me confused. I said, yeah, I don't make the rules.
Well, especially when they allow you to grow it at home. Do you think that people are not going to have extreme amounts of it? Come on.
My neighbor,
it's super
my neighbor is right. It has like more than the
Raza's like a little like, shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Don't tell.
So much.
She bring me shit too, and I was like, I'll take it.
No. What were you gonna say, Bailey?
Well, because the distribution, they're pretty easy to find online now. Like, even you can go on Weed Maps and find the bulk ordering now, because you can like legally through some gray stuff order like off a couple pounds, and then there you go, you started your own delivery service.
But you have to prove it that it is a delivery service.
Yeah, well, not really. You can just, all you got to do is pay $200 to get on Weed Maps. Weed Maps isn't gonna check if it's a company or not.
No.
That's fair.
And there's always going to be a workaround when it comes to any legalities of anything. Yeah. People are always going to find a workaround. That's how it goes.
So damn true.
Yeah.
This has a prohibition energy.
Yeah.
Going on here and stuff too, but it's legalized, so it's not really prohibition.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really, as far as like dispensaries go, like, do I go to them? Sometimes, but I just, for me, like, you can get better.
Bad word or something.
Well, because it's like, it's not about like hiding it or anything. It's just like, I feel like I can get better stuff from like my family. So it's like, I don't need to go there.
Lucky you over here.
Honestly, the only reason why I went to dispensary the first time I went is because my friend was like, "Can you take me?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I don't know how to pick out weed." I was like, "Dude, I don't go to these things, so like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'll go with you for moral support, but I don't even know what goes on in these places."
You can order that weed. Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. But I will say, like, the technologies of like how you can smoke weed now developing, I think is really cool. Because for myself, I don't want to go outside in the cold. I do live in Canada. It is fucking freezing here, so I don't want to smoke a joint outside. So having the option to like vape inside has completely changed the game for me.
Okay. Those damn pens are fucking, like, they're bad and they're fucking amazing at the same time.
Hashtag buy packs, so good.
Yeah,
everyone keeps telling me that. I might
Bailey,
try
it will change your life.
It will change. It's better than the 510s. It'll last you long.
Yeah, I got my 510s already clogging, but that's a whole. Now we're getting super nerdy ranting.
Dude, I mean, but that's valid points. It's valid things to talk about in this topic.
Like, oh no, I agree.
Is yours the like the no button draw one?
Yeah.
Who, me? Yeah. Oh, Bailey.
Either one, I guess.
Oh, I thought all the PAX ones had no buttons.
Mine's a no button. I have the PAX era. Like 10 out of 10 recommend. Love it.
Yeah. I had the first generation one.
Mm-hmm.
It still works 6 years later.
I really want the PAX. I think it's the PAX 3, which does oil and flower. Yeah. But it's super expensive. But it's on the list. It's next.
I have a thing called Tokyo Smoke, and it does both. Like, it does, and I got it for $50.
Yeah, I mean, they're relatively expensive at front value, but they really pay for themselves. Like, I've had mine for over a month. I've just been slowly. I also smoke like flower as well, so I go it's interchangeably, but I find like I can smoke a smaller joint and then carry my high inside with the vape, which is nice for me because then I don't have to sit outside for so long. I can stay high longer.
To me, it's just like, oh, I'm coming down.
Yeah. Pick it up. It's kind of like just top it up, you know, like
like pre-2020, I'd be like, oh, now I gotta fucking grind this shit. I gotta put in a bowl.
And roll it, and then I gotta go outside. I gotta put my slippers on.
100%. Like I'm already stoned. Like I'm tired. Like I'm passing out. Like I'm hungry as shit. But like now, it's just like, oh, it's in my ass pocket. Let me just take it out and fucking go to town, bud.
Yeah.
But like now they have the one near, like the ones near me. I don't know about y'all, but now they have my favorite ones in 1Gs now. So I like hold on to them for like a month or two because I'm a 1-day smoke up.
Yeah. I just like how the market has changed to more like targeting your needs. So when I buy a pod, I look at like what the effects are versus like when I buy flower, it is what it is. I'm just going to smoke it if I like it. It doesn't matter. But when I'm looking at the packs, like they specifically target certain areas. So like if you're looking for like relaxation or mood boost or for sleeping or for productivity, you have those options to sort of customize your high to like what you need to accomplish, which I think is really nice. Yeah.
My dad is trying to slowly open up a pizza without making noise, and it's the cutest thing ever.
Aww.
Okay,
oh,
so
okay.
Something else we got riled up about this week. We're going straight to the business after having a lighthearted talk. All right, so we got Chris the Ratty Pants to talk about.
Like come up with a better name for him since none of us can get his last
name. What
name.
even is his last name?
Like Delia or something like that?
Yeah, it's Delia.
All right.
So this weird slimy comedian boy who used to hang out with the almighty Rogan. I definitely think he looks like a beady little rat. I'm fully behind this. Like I'm 100% for the rat cause here. But
talk your shit. No problem.
This man is a very gross individual, and it's also like sad because he tries to use like sex addiction as a scapegoat. That's the word I'm looking for. As a scapegoat for his like toxic behaviors. So he's been caught talking to minors, and now this gentleman claims that it was by mistake or coincidence, or that he was unaware. There's so many cases, I have lost track of all the excuses.
Yeah, there's so many more people that are come.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious. It's again, we were talking about this on Friday. It's that weird not that I'm blaming the victims, because the victims have obviously been gaslit, but like it's this weird parasocial relationship that these people have, especially with younger. It's mostly younger girls with these older guys in these fields and stuff.
Well, that's because society puts all this pressure on women to continue to look like children. And so that's what men are attracted to. And then men who are in power think, I can actually have little girls and I can manipulate them into thinking that this is okay because I'm a big star comedian guy and I can take them places and show them things and flash my money around, and she's going to do what I want. And then when she has some time away from that person and, friends or family are like, you were sexually assaulted. Like, do you not realize that? And then that's when women are like, oh, shit, actually, yeah, I was a kid and this guy took advantage of me. And I mean, based on the things that are coming out from these women, like specifically stating that they felt coerced and forced into things. Yeah. And I mean, we just watched this all go down with, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
Mr. Big Stupid Pants. So like, it's not surprising when this stuff happens, right?
Yeah, it's these parasocial relationships are definitely like the key factor of it. It's it's all a power trip. You're totally right there. It's just what's fucked is like when you have that type of I guess he's not super rich, so he doesn't have like fuck you money, but like
Mm-hmm.
But he's still a celebrity.
if you're a
Right?
charming
He has that.
individual with a public facing job, you can afford to take like an established woman out on a date.
Yeah.
Why when okay, so proposition, you see a Kyle, you see the fuck boy. He's the type of guy that you know since high school, and he's still going back to high school to try to get them as they turn 19, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing it because he's broke, ain't nobody want him, he feels bad about himself, there's a million things behind that shit. Like, why does someone with money still gotta employ fuckboy tactics?
I believe that with an established woman, like if she's established and whatnot, she isn't impressed by his like whatever he has to offer, because she could potentially do it on her own and stuff without having him do it. So his other option, I could be wrong, is to go after the next thing is to be a younger girl who doesn't have those experiences, or who doesn't have those life skills to understand what he's offering to her. So she doesn't know how to differentiate between him being creepy and him being like a helpful,
Right.
or whatever.
I think like you're a Kyle no matter how much money you have. So I think it doesn't matter. I think like if that's your personality and like that's what you're into, like that's what you're gonna do. And I think if you want to look at it like, so in every sort of like area of, I guess, fame, whether it's Instagram, whether it's like a celebrity or YouTube and stuff like that, you're gonna find these people in all of these places, and they're gonna abuse their power. And it's like, I bring it even down to I don't even know, I think Raza might know, I don't know about Bailey, but Onision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That guy.
Literally like the biggest, weirdest looking loser ever, but somehow was able to rope in young girls. And like, I don't know if you know the details of what he did, but he convinced a very young girl to come and move in with him and his partner and become a babysitter, and then proceeded to take advantage of her sexually as an underage person. And if you look into the history of celebrities, okay, it's very common. Even one of my own liked celebrities will go from their wives and migrate to the help. And I say the help is in like any kind of like maids or daycare people or child watchers and stuff like that. They'll go to these because usually they're younger people that are looking to get a leg up, trying to make money. And then when your boss, who is a, person of power in comparison to you, someone with money, somebody with privilege, somebody in a better spot than you, says, oh, well, if you suck my dick, I'll do all these great things for you. And like, you feel manipulated in that situation. And those guys need to be held accountable for that, because they shouldn't even feel comfortable to say that in the first place.
100%. And like Me Too movement expose that, but at the same time, unfortunately, like every other thing, it gets hijacked by extremists and stuff. Like I was reading a report that came out of the Me Too movement. 100 cases were wrong, like the men were wrongly convicted, but there were more, like 1,000 more cases that were rightly convicted. So it was like 1% out of the entire thing were wrong. So it's just like once that happened, I think men sort of took that as an attack on them. Like, we can't be anything we say to a woman will be deemed misogynistic or sexist. And I'm looking at it like, it's like, no, women are smart. They're able to figure out themselves when you're being genuine and when you're being a dick. Like, it doesn't take much, right? So like the whole Me Too movement to me was it needed to happen.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing that it's a good thing that we are still facing the repercussions of it. Like if you are a good like a good guy or a good man, you need to move for you. It shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't to me. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but Bailey, but like when all these people were being outed, the entire time I was like, "Don't be Chris Evans, don't be Chris Evans," and then Chris Evans was a good boy, but yeah, it just like changed my whole perspective on my gender, which is a
Mm-hmm.
Oh
thing to
well.
say, but it's like true. So
Shit, that's a fucking super wholesome conclusion, I gotta say.
thank
That's really cool that it like changed your perspective on things. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's fucking like let's clap for Raza.
thank you. I feel
But
like I
because
did something.
that's the and to like go timely and topical is like then I think that the added part that what you're bringing up of this story and changing your perspective on things is also then like looking through some of the shit that we used to ingest as normal retroactively with like a
Mm-hmm.
better perspective. So the timely one is the whole Pepe Le Pew shit, right? Like so of course
Yeah,
the conservatives are all up in arms about it because cancel culture this and that, but it's like it is hella toxic. Like
it
Mm-hmm.
is, bro.
Well,
Like
but even just to bring it back to Chris, right? Like to circle back to him,
yeah, yeah,
there
yeah.
was allegations that did come out in I think like 2019 or 2018, and people were really like going after him, and everyone was like, "LOL, shut up! You're just saying that because he's getting popular now. Like nobody cares about your opinion." And this is still like the Me Too movement was quite popular at this time, and everybody just like brushed them under the rug. And then a few years later, an interview comes out where somebody says something about how Snapchats can't be deleted or
yeah,
they can be saved. And Chris's
yeah, we're
face
talking
in that
about like
fucking interview, yeah, he literally was just like, oh, like so dumbfounded. And
Yeah.
then, sure enough, a few years later, somebody finally got, brave enough or felt comfortable enough to come out and say, actually, I brought this up and it's true and it happened to me and maybe respect me. It's like, I don't know why we give these men, these white men, big, powerful, whatever you want to say.
really.
I mean, he's a comedian, so I don't think he's that big and powerful, but like whatever. But we give these people a pass in initial because it's like, oh, well, we don't want to believe that that's real. And
Yeah,
even with Johnny Depp, when all that stuff was going on with Amber, and everybody immediately was like, we side with Amber. Johnny Depp is evil. Can't you tell? Look at the kind of characters he's played in movies. He's horrible. But then when Johnny Depp was like, LOL, here's all the video footage of her abusing me, and here's her literally admitting on tape to abusing me, now
yeah.
you guys want to be on my side. And it's like, you have to start taking victims' statements a little bit more seriously. And it's not just for women's sake, it's just as human beings in general. I don't know
Because
why. I really don't know why we gave him a pass when it first came out. I still don't understand that.
Because if you're
yes, because
friends with Joe Rogan, you can talk your way out of it. Because too many,
anything,
I'm
anything.
gonna be a little hot take. Too many
Mm,
white women specifically are subservient to their like toxic partner's opinions. So
it's
all of a
true.
sudden, all these bros that listen to Rogan are gonna like then go, "Oh, hey, well, this is how it is." Like, I was listening the other day and this guy was talking about it. Because the whole cycle perpetuates itself because we've trained men to be toxic and we've trained women to be submissive. Then, as a Chris
Mhm.
D'Elia looks for retribution, he's gonna turn to his toxic brethren to keep pushing the cycle in his favor.
It's true.
Right?
It's like that Gian Gamashi guy. Remember him? He had like a case,
Oh
case
yeah,
against him, sexual abuse,
John
but
Gameshi. Yeah.
he like the effed up part was like I respected him like as a journalist. I was like dude, like you're one of my favorite radio jockeys, and then like, but his thing was also kind of sketchy. Like from what I gather is it's like the women would always go back to him, and his attorney, who was a woman by the way, and she specialized in these type of cases where sexual assault cases and stuff. But she would always be on the side of the man and stuff, and she's been known to win every single, and he ultimately won that case just based on the fact that they went back and they were saying yes to everything he was doing.
I just find that argument to be so weak. I literally like how that argument makes it past anything is so weak. It's like you didn't even try, you put in zero effort, you use the easiest excuse in the book. Oh, she went back. Okay, same with Harvey Weinstein. Do you know how many people were sexually assaulted by him but continued to go to him because he's a powerful director? And if you want to have a fucking job, that's what you need to do. It's the same thing if we look into the porn industry, right? There's this whole connotation that like if you're in porn, you can't be raped. Whatever scene you're doing, like it's the scene, it doesn't matter. Like you consented to it, you're there. But do you know how many women don't consent to things and then they're forced into them during the show? So tell me now, like did she deserve that because she went for it and she's had to stay there and go through that? You can't make that argument. It's weak, it's lazy, and I think women that defend that behavior and make those arguments against other women, like she's the weakest of us all. Like she's got to go. Like ridiculous.
We don't blame her. She's from a different set.
Yeah.
But I totally agree, and it exposes a deeper issue.
That's why we gotta smash the patriarchy, dog. Smash the patriarchy.
Exactly.
I just think I just can't get over women who take those sides. It's astonishing to me. It's like even so with Johnny Depp as well. Even his ex-wife came out and she was like, absolutely not that person. Never in our relationship. There was no like, she was with him for a very long time. They had children together and she was like, no, like you guys got to see both sides of the story. I've spent time with Amber. She's crazy. And still nobody cared about Johnny's point because he was a guy and they're like, well, men are always wrong, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's so sick and twisted. And you think even with what's his face? I can't even remember his name now. It's irrelevant. The one that supposedly did or didn't hang himself. What's his name?
Jeffrey.
Yeah, even with him, his right hand was a woman.
Yeah.
She was the one bringing all the women in and manipulating them and making them feel comfortable to partake in these things. And it's like people don't realize when any kind of pedophilia or sexual assault or any kind of sexual crime, there's an air of like you have to make people comfortable in order to take advantage of them sexually. And I think people don't understand that these people form groups and entire like routines around doing these things. It's fucked up.
It's just like and like I remember we did a news roundup with Max, whatever her name is,
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. So a lot of the things I found, not just from her, but from other like pedophiles who have women in their orbit helping them. It's just like these women were a comforting thing for these girls. So like if you see a woman giving you free rides to a movie theater or taking you shopping or like giving you food or stuff or like doing stuff for you, you're more susceptible to like to fall in that trap where like she got you, but ultimately she's sort of grooming you,
right?
Grooming you for the guy, which is what she was doing for Jeffrey Epstein and his clientele.
Yeah. Well, even just like as a woman existing in the world, it sucks because like I remember when I was younger, this guy was pursuing me relentlessly, and I was like, I'm not really ready. I'm not really interested right now. I'm dealing with a breakup. Like, let me just figure my stuff out. Like, I'm not sure I'm there. And he hounded me, and finally I was like, okay, I will go on a date with you. And then I went on a date. Yeah. So this was I take onus for this. I mean, it's not my fault. Whatever. I went on the date. And after the date, so he like paid for dinner and a movie, which was, I had my own money. I was like, no, you don't have to pay for everything. And he was like, no, I want to. Like, this is the whole point of taking you on the date. And I was like, okay. And the whole time I felt kind of worried that this was, anyways. So we went on the date, and then afterwards, he proceeded to tell everybody that I used him to go to the movies and dinner. Even though everybody knew that I had told him hundreds of times that I wasn't interested, I didn't want to go on a date, but he just like would not stop hounding me and like threatening his own personal safety. And I was like, okay, dude, finally I'll just go on the fucking date with you. Fine. And then, it ended up blowing up in my own face, but that's a small thing that I've experienced. Women experience these things on bigger scales all the time. Oh, well, I paid for you to come on this trip for me, and I introduced you to this director, and I paid for you to have this shoot done, and you would think it would only be nice of you to have sex with me. And like, that's what they do. It's like, no.
It's like those McDonald's free coffee cards. I was nice to you this many times. Why would you have sex with me after the 10th time?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? But yeah, it's so true. It's even worse that a guy has to quote unquote wear you down essentially to get what he wants, which is, I find, is the least manly thing. One of the least manly thing a dude.
Exactly.
Like, at least work for that date. Like, if she says no, all right, well then maybe you're a fucking dick.
Right. But you can't forget all the social pressures around that too, because even though I was telling him no, he was in the same group of friends as me, and my friends were like, oh, just give him a chance, like, you don't know, like, maybe you'll like him, like, just go on the date, like, don't be such a brat, like, you're being such a bitch. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be known as like a bratty bitch, so like, I guess I gotta do this thing so everybody will shut the fuck up about it. And it just ends up not being a good time. And these things happen in all scenarios, all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say. And also,
friends don't let friends do shit they're not comfortable with. So those weren't good friends. So sorry to say.
No, it's like that's like a big thing in society too, though. It's not just the friends. There's a whole thing around like shaming and judgment based on your relationship status, and that's something that men don't experience in the same light as women, like, at all.
Exactly.
And I think that's the root cause of that, like, oh, well, he should try him, because if we respected people saying, like, you know what, like, no, then we wouldn't end up in these peer pressure situations as much. But instead it's like, grandma's gotta ask, like, are you married yet? You married yet? Like, why is it your fucking business, grandma?
Yeah, your clock is ticking. Why aren't you pregnant? Yeah.
Like, I remember when I turned, and this is also a cultural thing, but when I turned 29 this year, and my aunt was just like, so is marriage now on the table next? And then I didn't say anything. I was like, woman, deal with your own kids. One of them is one of them is a pothead. Well, no, he's not, but one of them is a dick to me, and the other one is a bully to me. So you both are bad people, and you want me to get focus on them. And then
it's true. I mean, I cannot, like, if I can give anybody any advice when it comes to like your own life, just keep it to your fucking self. Don't tell people what you're doing. Like, make your moves. It really is one of those, like, those motivational things you see online. Like, do your movements in quiet. Yeah, honestly, like, but it's so true though. Like, move in silence. Don't tell people your business. Keep it to yourself.
In the immortal words of Lil Wayne, real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
It's true.
Like,
it's true.
It's like me tweeting rise and grind and going right back to bed.
It's true. It's so, but it happens all the time. You know, like, I dated someone for a long time and we just didn't talk about our relationship. We didn't post it online. It wasn't a huge thing. It wasn't like our core personalities, was just our relationship. And I think that gave us a lot of power to protect our relationship because we didn't have to deal with outside opinions. And I think people should be doing that with not just their relationships, but with their friendships, with their businesses, with their jobs, with their, like, you can do things on social media and promote things, but I think what you're doing in the meantime and like the core of it, like, just it's your business. It's like, you don't, when you open it up, it gives people the idea that they can give their opinions that aren't necessarily welcome.
I support your way of thinking, but I do challenge it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, I see where Bailey is coming from, and I can predict this argument.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's because it's some ways of living, such as being a dinky Twitch streamer. You have to show that part of your life. So otherwise, I do in epitome agree that, like, you're supposed to hide certain things so that you don't share your life, because you're kind of generating self-pity, and that self-pity isn't helping you or the people reading it. It's not getting anyone anywhere but reading another person online reading about themselves, bitching about their lives. Right. But I think, unfortunately, I wish it wasn't this way, that certain fields and certain paths in life, because we're so interconnected, you have to expose a bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, that I can agree with, but what I'm saying is big important things don't need to be shared. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, like, even if I look at your, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. If I look at your social media, if I was to look at your social media, right, Bailey? Yeah. All I see on your social media is what you're doing with your business, what you're doing with your online show. All of it is centered around, like, your media, your work, your business, your passion, right? Yeah. I don't see anything about your family. I don't see anything about a relationship or a possible relationship or anything that's going on in your personal life. I don't see it. Right? You choose not to share that stuff. Why? Because it's private, it's unimportant. People don't need to know about your business. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to promote something you're working on, like a podcast or an internet show or anything like that, those are things that you should share and promote. But you're not going to tell people your business strategy. You're not going to tell people your topics that you have lined up so that they can beat you to the punch. You know, you're not going to tell them about your personal life so they can use that against you when maybe you have an argument that they don't like. Right? And they can say, oh, well, what about this about your mom or your girlfriend or whatever they feel to say, right? So I just think, like, it's important to protect those things, not just because you don't want outside judgment, but also because it gets in the way of your progress when people are bringing up things that you don't want to hear about. There's a lot of, like, so we'll bring it into social media stars, right? If you think about, like, let's use PewDiePie for an example. Everybody knows that he's married to, I think her name's Marzipan. Yeah, I'm not sure. Him and her, exactly. So him and her are married, right? Yeah. He started to step back from social media because he was like, I'm an old man. I've made my money. I've done my shit. Like, I'm going to just, like, chill and stream and, like, not do as much. And Marzipan was still doing stuff. And everybody was like, are you divorced? Are you breaking up? What's going on? What's happening? What's going on in your relationship? And it's like, he had to come out and say, no, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm just trying to do things my own way. And, like, she's her own person and she can have her own brand and her own things. Like, I'm vibing. She's vibing. We're still together. We still have pets. Like, it's all fine. Everybody relax. It's like, that's why you got to protect those things. Like, if a marriage, you're not going to be able to hide that. You're married to somebody. But it's like, having your personal business, people feed off that, they manipulate it, they use it, they recycle it, they say it to you again when you don't really want to hear about it, right?
Yeah. Like, but on the other side, there's people like me who are an open book, so these rules don't apply. And I just no, like, yeah, like it is jokes, because like every time somebody tells me, oh, don't post that, I'm just like, why? It doesn't matter. It's just like, I don't like. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like I'm doing it solely to make people feel bad because I'm better than and stuff. So like, I have weaponized my social media to talk down to people, jokingly though. Like, I don't do it aggressively, but like, I agree with both of you actually. It's like, for my field specifically, I need to have like to show stuff, but like, I don't like I will post a cat or my mom, is because I want people to know that I am happy and I am happier than them. I want to get that image and shit.
But I think at the core of that though, Raza, I think if somebody was like, I think Raza's really unhappy, and you heard that like through the grapevine, tell me how much you would actually care. You wouldn't care at all. You'd be like, okay, and
oh yeah, I'd be like, yeah,
because that's your personality. Right.
Exactly,
if somebody said to me, oh, so and so says like you're really depressed, I'd be like, okay, well, what? Where'd they get that idea from? Like, the fuck? I haven't posted anything about anything in the hell. But it's like, even with the few things, like, so for myself, like, I repost a lot of like quotes and stuff into my Instagram story. You don't even know how many times my friends will be like, are you okay? I'm like, it's a fucking quote, dude. Like, are you good? Like, why do you care? Like, leave me alone.
It's just like you didn't have to tell me you liked Mac Miller. I just saw it from your 600. Okay, she likes Mac Miller. I get it. Like,
listen, I'll go to the ends of the earth to defend that man. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, hands down. Like, when you told me that, I was sitting there like, no shit. Yeah. I had no idea. Tell me more.
Tell.
Because like, I do like the oh, this shit I can do it tonight. I do like how social media has sort of like made us more nosy, made us more like what's going on in their lives, especially like in relationships. Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, I don't know about dudes, since I haven't dated a dude, but girls specifically, is just like the ones I have, not a generalization, like the ones I dated. They have been like, why are you liking that girl? Why are you liking that picture? Who is a girl, but so happens to be your friend for 6 years? And this is like, I gave her that exact reason. I feel like guys would do that too now, because social media is more in our face than maybe before.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it just brings out people's insecurities.
Yeah.
It makes the most innocent thing the most, like, it's breakup worthy of things that people would say.
Yeah, well, it's like, even from Mr. in my professional consultation, like, as I'm giving people advice on like how to develop their web personality and their branding, like, it's very specific. You need to decide off rip, like, how personal do you want to be with it, because you got to set that expectation with your audience. Because if you act like if you do what we're saying, and me and Wine Mom here like to be a little reclusive, then you can keep that veil and allow people in here and there. But if you start off an open book like a Raza, people will ask, why is it closed? Why is it closed? I want to see more. I want to see more. What happened to this? What happened to that? Right? So it's like important to decide. You don't necessarily have to have your content game ready. Like, you don't got to be the next mommy blogger, but you got to decide if you want to be the mommy blogger that's going to talk to the camera, or if they're going to make content.
Well, that's true. That's very true. And I think the reason why, so if I'm going to look into why I became more reclusive on social media, because I wasn't like that originally.
Mhm.
When I started using social media as a young person, like it was MySpace, Facebook, blogging sites like that where people were on there, and you posted your entire life on there. You posted pictures of your relationship and your friends and your schools. Like I remember at a point in time people were posting their entire class schedules on Facebook so that people could meet up between classes. Like that's what we did.
Yeah.
Right?
I did that to him so many times at Nair College. I was like, yo, B, give me your schedule. I want to
Yeah.
fuck. Well, not really.
But I mean, like, that's what we would do on social media, right? And then I got to a point where I felt that I didn't have any intimacy with my friends anymore. Like all my information, all the things that I was doing and like where I worked and like all that stuff was on social media, and I was like, okay, now everybody knows that I don't have any exclusivity with my friends. And it's like, even if I think about our dynamic here, there's some things that I've told Bailey about my life because I've known him for as long as I've known him that a lot of people don't know, and I don't share them on social media. It's just between me and him. And I can say Raza doesn't know them, and like that's just how that is. No offense, Raza. It's just like when I saw your facial expression. But what I'm saying with that is like it gives you some exclusivity with your friendships. I feel more connected to Bailey as a friend because he knows me and I know him and we understand each other. But there's other friends that I have that I don't want them to have that exclusivity. I don't want them to know those personal things about me, and they don't have to. And I can have that barrier of space where I can be like, okay, like I only know you at this time. This is personal now. I'm going to remove myself.
Yeah.
Just
Like
like protecting your peace, really.
100%. That's what I did with Facebook. Like, because like I feel like that is the worst of the social medias. Like they're all bad, but that's like the worst of the worst, where you can like it actually made me angry, like, and like kind of sad about how other people are doing shit in life. And then as soon as I got rid of it, I was just like, I feel way better now about because Facebook is like really good at giving you that too much information out of thing. Like if it has an overflow of it, whereas Instagram and Twitter, I feel like you can sort of customize and you sort of have more freedom of what you can see and who to see and stuff. And shit. And also like people in my real life, like on Twitter, Bailey and Wine Mom now unfortunately knows this, but my Twitter personality is completely different than my Instagram personality and Washington Madness, because like I have like this is who I am in front of a camera, but everywhere else I go, like I don't like being who I am on the internet, so I do put up a
wouldn't that
trolling.
be antithetical to what you said before about being an open book online?
Well, sort of, but like I don't know. It's just like it's like a weird thing I have because
different places for different things. I think.
No, I feel.
Twitter, it's like if you are an open book. Oh no, that's the point I was getting at. With Twitter, it's like you don't want to be an open strangers. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
That shit can come at you like a fucking lioness. But on Instagram, being an open book is like a little bit more like less powerful because people know you and they know you like me. They know I'm full of shit, so like they take nothing I take seriously. So on Instagram or on Twitter, people take I take seriously. So it is like a weird sort of fucking mindset you have to have.
I think social media has become like a tool for young people. It's a weapon. It's a weaponized platform, really, honestly. And in all respect, like nobody's gonna get me that way. I don't care about that shit. You're not gonna do that to me. And I think about like when we're younger, right? Let's say like high school ages, it was like, well, once you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, like you got to post pictures of yourself like having a really good time, or like with a new guy or a new girl, or you know, your quote unquote revenge body. And it's like, how sick and toxic is that shit, that like that's what you're worried about when you break up with someone, when really what you should be worried about is like, how am I going to heal and move past this and get better and develop new things in my life to cope with things that are going on, and like enjoying life. Like I'm not going to stop in the middle of something I'm doing so I can like snap a pic for the gram. Like don't fucking care.
Like when I broke up with my ex, all my friends were like, go out with this hot girl, and I'm just like, bro, man is trying to decompress here, right? He's over a breakup. Like the social media is the last place where he wants to and shit.
When I break up with someone, I want to not exist anymore. Like when we're done, you're not going to be able to find me. I'm gone. Like I no longer exist. I pretend I have died. I feel like that's more satisfying for me, not in a revenge sense, but in a sense of like, I'm removing myself from your bullshit and your toxicity, and I'm gonna have my own stuff. I'm not afraid to block people. I'm not afraid to unfriend people or mute them or remove them from my existence. I don't want to listen to your bullshit, and guess what? I don't have to. It's not reflective. It's not motivational. It's not helping me grow. It's not giving me progress. All you're doing is keeping me in a stalemate, and I'm not interested. I'm gonna move on now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk featuring my mom. No, but it's
thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I got a critical question that is tied to the breakup scenario.
Okay.
How many selfies does one have to post before you can know they're honestly heartbroken?
I think one.
I mean, I don't even. If I'm being,
you see the spam of them. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, I'm just saying. Like the thing is, like I truly, genuinely don't fucking care. So I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, I post pictures. I honestly like expose myself a little bit. I posted a picture. I posted a picture of myself on Instagram. I think like a couple months ago. And the only reason why I did it is because I looked at my feed and I was like, oh fuck, like I haven't posted anything in like literally forever, and I'm trying to start like an online project. Like I should probably show people that I still fucking exist in some realm of existence. So let me like put some makeup on and a bra for the first time in 6 months and take a fucking photo. Like,
by the way,
you know,
no, I just in the consideration of this like online presence convo, it's like I find that it says something big about people sometimes when they're obsessively taking selfies. Like you said, take the photo of this for the gram. Like there's people that it's not even for the gram. It's let me take a selfie right
or
here just because. Like,
I have so many. I just like when I look at my phone, I have so many photos of stuff that I've done with my friends, and if you go on my social media, you don't see them. And I feel like that's fun for me. I like taking those photos of events that I've had and like texting with my friends and be like, oh, look at this photo from this time we did this thing. Like it was so much fun, and that's more intimate and much more fun for me. And it's like, I remember I had a large group of friends online, and then we all decided, because a bunch of them lived in the States, some of them lived in Canada, and we decided we were all going to meet in Canada and we were going to go to Dave and Buster's together. I have so many like videos and pictures, and like we spent over a week together. There was like 7 or 8 of us, and I have like one of the coolest pictures ever of all of us, because we're all different heights and shapes and colors, and like there's this like picture of us where I'm the oldest in the group and I look like a 12-year-old, and then like it all goes all the way up to the tallest person. And I love these photos, and they're so like special and intimate to me, but I don't have them posted on Facebook, on Instagram, on any website ever, because nobody else is going to appreciate that photo the way that I appreciate that. So every few months I send those to my friends and I go, don't you remember when we had this great time? And we have a good half an hour conversation about how great of a time it was, and it's just for me and my friends to talk about.
Okay, then I appreciate and respect that highly.
Thank you. I'm glad that I talked my way into that.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair.
I use like it's funny you bring up the intimate thing, and y'all can laugh at
Mm,
my thing for intimacy, but I have the close friends thing on Instagram for all of my close friends and stuff.
yes.
So so that's how I tell all the people are special to me because
I'm
that's
in the
how
close friends gang. Bailey, are you?
Ooh, yeah, fortunately.
I gotta him 1 second. One
Oh, you're
second.
gonna take him out of the
Ah.
kick him
Hold
out.
on, BRB,
No,
BRB.
that's like I hate like I hate that social media it has made me more pessimistic. But now
Yeah.
over the last 12 actually no like this pandemic has sort of like lightened me up a little bit, which is an oxymoron.
Well, I think the pandemic has actually made it easier for people to sort of get on board with the concept of like not posting a lot and protecting your peace, because even big creators that I have followed from the time I was like 16, and their entire lives, their engagement, their marriage, their divorce, their new boyfriend, their new marriage, their children, their houses, their work life, everything they've posted on social media like
Yeah, I
for
see it.
years, right? And
And
these
then
women now, they're
yeah,
coming out and they're saying, I don't have anything to post. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting at home spending time with my husband and my children, and I'm not interested in social media right now. And I think
yeah,
that's making it easier for people like in our generation to sort of have a bit of a breakaway from that. Now, of course, there's still people that are posting things, and I'm like, I don't know why you guys care so much. Literally, nobody's watching, but okay. It's like,
yeah,
just relax, and enjoy life. It doesn't always have to be like on a social media site.
I feel like you and my mom would get along just well. And she needs less friends, so I'm not. No, because she has the same view as well. Why, why are we going so quick and
I
stuff?
I don't know. Like I think about my grandmother and the way that she is on Facebook. She posts so much on Facebook, and like she's always talking about not necessarily super personal things, but she's talking about somewhat personal things, and I'm like, how is that not boring for you? How does that not start to get old for you? And
Exactly.
the thing is like, so what really kills me is we were having this conversation really, which I thought like recently, which I thought was kind of funny. She's
Mhm.
talking about my aunt wants to sell her home and she wants to move to Northern Ontario, a different section of Ontario, because she's just like, I hate the city. I agree. The city fucking sucks right now. I don't want to be here either. So she wants to relocate. And so a lot of our family, like our cousins, my grandmother has she has 4 siblings, 2 sisters and 2 brothers. And so a lot of their family lives in like PEI and Nova Scotia and sort of that section of Ontario. And so my grandmother communicates with them online, and she's like, I want to go and live there. And so she's like, you should come with me. And I was like, I don't want to go there because like I don't really know anybody. I don't know the area. I don't have any friends out there. I don't have any family out there. And she's like, no, you do have family. And I was like, okay, I have blood relatives. I don't know those people. She's like, well, they're your family. And it's like, no offense, like I love them. They're my family and I support their lives, and I think everything, whatever, it's all great, and I'll be nice, and like I want to get to know you, but I don't feel connected to those people. I don't spend time with them. I don't talk to them on the phone. I don't text with them. Like I don't, not to be rude, but I only know some of the people from maybe some social events that we've had. And so the idea
Yeah,
of moving out there and relying on them to be family for me doesn't work. But for my grandmother, because she has that online communication with them on Facebook, she feels connected. Those are family.
yeah,
It's just the same as if she was spending the same amount of time with them as she spends with me here.
yeah. Like I think we feel like when my grandmother was alive, like everybody wanted her to move to Chicago with my uncle and stuff.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, one of her sons, my dad, lives in Ontario and stuff,
Hmm.
and with all of her friends and all of her family.
Hmm.
But for some a reason, just like you said, like oh, blood relatives are out there, people that she's never spoken to. Like
Hmm.
just throw her there, and then she will just live a life that she has no idea.
Exactly.
Shit. So like,
I have one friend that lives in British Columbia, and I feel more comfortable moving out to British Columbia to be close to my one friend than I do moving, closer to Ontario, like going to like PEI or Nova Scotia and being around like tons of family members, cousins, aunts, uncles. Like it's more comfortable for me to move to BC with somebody that I know, that I talk to, that's my friend, that I want to spend time with because I know her, versus
Is this part of like am I late to the party on this point? But I'm curious if you would think that our generation is more comfortable with like the idea of chosen family because we're used to these digital connections. Yeah,
absolutely.
What I thought.
What do you mean chosen?
So chosen family, it's like, it is an LGBTQ term, but it's also like something I use for myself and all that shit is it's like what we're talking about, the chosen family. Like Lily, their chosen family, Wine Mom's chosen family is that person in BC over these people that are supposedly your family just because they've shared DNA with you.
It's not blood. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Well, it's the saying that blood is thicker than water, which a lot of people don't realize is the blood of family is thicker than the water of the covenant or something like that. This is the full saying. And it's like, because witches consider, or anybody who practices witchcraft, they consider like their sisters to be the people that they practice with. Mm-hmm. So it's like you pick who your friends or who your family is. And I just feel like, I'm not an only child. I have a sister, and like I love my sister very much, but we don't have a close relationship because we don't get along, and that's fine. I still love and care for her, but we just don't get along. And so I have other girlfriends that I've known since I was a very young person, and I consider them to be like sisters to me. And one of my really good girlfriends, she, I've known her since we were in high school, and when I talk about her to people, I say like she's like a sister to me because that's what she's like to me. We grew up together, we spent all of our time together. She was living at my house sometimes, I lived at her house sometimes. We partied together, we had all of our milestones together. We spent big parts of our life together. Why shouldn't I be able to consider that person family to me?
100%, yeah. I have friends like that too now that I realize it. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my god. I didn't even think of that.
My shit was kind of out of like... No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, my shit was kind of out of like necessity, right? Like I had like legit... I guess you would kind of relate to this in some ways. I didn't really have much family. I didn't know no one. I literally, I got one first cousin. I have one.
Yeah.
That's it.
So like... I was kind of forced to find a chosen family because I didn't have
this
any.
Is where I believe this is where the disconnect is. Like me being a Pakistani kid, our number one rule is having a huge family and knowing all of our 30 cousins and all of our 100 aunties and uncles and like that. So like we I do have a chosen family, but not like a full-fledged one, because my actual family has been there for all of those milestones or all of those things that what they would traditionally be there for, right? So that's my whole thing. So
like to put it into perspective, so I've been thinking a lot about where I want to live eventually, or like as soon as possible. Especially with COVID, it's done nothing but highlight how much I hate the city. I do love this place. I know I'm contradicting myself. I love this place, but I'm not in love with it anymore. I used to love walking around Toronto and being downtown and like seeing things and being close to my friends here, but I don't feel connected anymore, and it's just not working for me. And so I've been tossing around the idea of moving relatively far away. And I had said to one of my closest girlfriends, I was like, I cannot move without you. Will you please come to this, like if I'm moving to this city or this place, and will you come with me? Like, bring you and your boyfriend. Like, I went to her with a very realistic, I was like, please, if I'm relocating, you have to come at least within a year and come with me. And she was like, absolutely. Because she's my family. That's my extension of myself. Like, that's the person that I need. And it doesn't always have to be a partner. It's just with like friendships as well. Like, it's, who you're close to is who you're close to. If I could, I would pack up all the people that I love and bring them across the world with me. But I know that, like, there's one person I can't go, I don't want to go without her. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I won't be able to live without you. But it's like, that's my best friend. That's somebody that I love and care about and I talk to regularly. And I enjoy spending my time with them. And I want them to come with me. I take my mom, I take my grandmother, like, my chosen people. I would love to do that, but it's just it's you feel connected to who you feel connected to. And I think there's always this pressure to, like, be connected to your family, and sometimes it's just not that way.
And the like shit that, like, you have, like, you don't want to like and stuff. Like, yeah, like, oh man, I can't tell you how many friends I lost just because, like, I couldn't do what they expected me to do and shit. So it's just like, those friends that, like, the friend that you have that's your a ride or die. That's a rare friend. Not like I can't say I have one of those. Unfortunately, I wish I did, and I'm hella envious that you have someone like that. But those friends are, like, super rare, and it's like, people have to have them.
Well, this is why I'm saying to you, like, the exclusivity of friendships is so important to me, because the people, like, I can genuinely say the people who are in my personal circle, who I tell my personal things to and who I speak to on a regular basis, they know that is extremely important and it's very rare. And I don't let people come in my circle because I'd rather have a small, strong circle than a huge, weak circle.
That I discovered that in college. I can't like all of no, y'all can laugh at that because I was fucking, like, I made friends with everybody, like, growing up. Like, I'm a extrovert. Yeah, I'm a hybrid between extrovert and introvert. So you can say
all
I'm
three of
awesome.
us are,
but not at my level, Bailey. All right,
fine.
Competition.
But like, I was like that, and then I realized that having so many friends is the most stressful thing ever.
So stressful.
You have to keep up appearances. You have to act a different way with certain friends. You have to, like, you have to, like, talk a certain way, and then realize I'm just gonna cut half of them out and stick with, like, 3 or 4 of them, and that's it. And I've been, like, smooth sailing kind of ever since. And then Bailey came into my life, and then
I just think, like, when you struggle, like, for myself, I have a lot of mental health issues that I struggle with on my own, and it's easier for me when I have a small group of friends, and, like, let's say I fall off and I don't text somebody for a few days, or I kind of get a little bit reclusive for a bit. I don't have to worry about people being like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you coming out to the party? Why aren't you here? Like, why aren't you talking to Sarah and Jessica and Renee and Christine? Like, why aren't you talking to us? Like, maybe I just wanted to, like, have a minute to, like, chill. And my close friends, they know when I'm just like, okay, she's just having, like, she just needs some time to relax. I don't have to explain myself. The person who knows me knows me.
Like, yeah, essentially, like with close friends, it's easier to have them up to date with your life as opposed to a large group of friends where you have to have them in a group chat and you'll be like, yo, B, here's what I'm going through, and, like, 10 of them won't even listen to you. And then the small, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I've had the fortunate anomaly. I've experienced the terrible group chats, but, like, because of how wacky my life is, like, I'm very grateful that at different phases in my life I've established, like, really strong relationships with people. So it's like I don't necessarily have a tiny circle, but at the same time, like, these humans know wacky Bailey's life, and that I kind of get different phases. I get to focus on different things, but it doesn't mean that 5 years later you can't hit me up and say, hey man, I need your help. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But people will do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of people would just ditch them. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, like, because as we've established, being an introverted, personal, like, don't really tell people your business type person, I still need people that I can be open and honest with. And it's like, I can genuinely say the people who I talk to regularly who are in my small circle, I feel comfortable telling them things without receiving any judgment. And it's like, it feels better to have that small group that you communicate with, that you know that they have your best interests at heart. They actually fucking care. They're not judging you. They're not going to tell all the other friends in the group when you don't want everybody else to know. It's just about having that little bit of like trust, that you can trust people to genuinely care about what you're saying. Because as somebody who does genuinely care about people and I absorb a lot of people's issues, I just want to know that when I'm here supporting and absorbing your stuff and I'm riding for you, that when it's my turn, you're going to do the same for me. And that's what a small exclusive group of friends will do.
That's exactly how I view all of my friendship relationship. I'm just like, if you don't meet my energy or meet me halfway, I ain't doing anything. Like it's a two-way street, and if I'm going the whole 9 yards, it's not worth it for me. And I have lost friends based on that attitude and stuff, and it's like they're not really friends if I have to do it.
Well, that's the big thing, is like, that's not a friend.
Yeah.
You've done yourself a favor. Release yourself. Goodbye. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I should write a self-help book on. No, actually, I had an inner dialogue with myself not too long ago. I said, if I keep on cutting off people, because I'm very good at letting go and cutting off people. I'm very good at that. I've made myself disassociate, like detach, remove myself from anything. I've told myself, if I keep on doing this, I will end up alone in my life. So I need to calm down on the cutting out.
I don't think you'll end up alone. I don't think you will.
I do, because like I'm noticing every year. My social circle, it's fucking weird. Like, I had weird existential crisis not too long ago. Like, my social circle is getting smaller and smaller, and I'm thinking, is that because of me, or is that because I'm growing up? People are saying, no, because you're growing up, Raza. You're becoming a big boy now. And my mom and dad are like, yeah, Raza, you are also becoming a big boy. And I'm just like, Mom and Dad, the fuck do you know? And then
you having a breakdown? Are you doing okay there, bud?
No, I'm having a mental breakdown.
But what I think is happening is that you're refining your life. It's not about whether you're becoming a big boy or if you're still a little boy, or if you've got, you're pushing people away from your life. It doesn't matter. It's like, to be on the spiritual hippie side of life is like, your path in life is already predetermined. What's gonna happen to you is going to happen to you. As human beings, we don't have the power to see ahead of us.
Right.
So where you're going is where you're going. And there's going to be momentary hiccups where you do feel isolated and you do feel separated from people. And I can confidently tell you, 2.5 years ago, I was completely alone. I moved into my first apartment. I spent an entire year by myself. I had one friend. I wouldn't even say I had friends, but I was so isolated from them that I wasn't spending time with anybody. I was just by myself in my own space. And it was dark, and it was hard, and it was weird, and it felt very lonely. But I met somebody who became my best friend, and she's really helped me develop into who I am. And she's really taught me a lot of things about myself, as well as I've done the same for her. And I think eventually, no matter how much you push people away, somebody is going to come in your life and be like, you're special, and I'm here for you. And it doesn't really matter how you get there, how long it takes. It's gonna happen for you.
100%.
That was cute
100%.
as fuck.
Yeah, and thanks, Bailey. I like.
Why are you saying thank you?
That is cute as fuck. No, but like I saw this movie called Demolition Man, and the quote that stuck out of me. Not Demolition Man. It's called.
Don't pick on him. Let him have his euphoric moment.
It's
You
a
just gave
Demolition.
an impassioned speech, and he's about to quote an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yes, do it.
It's not Demolition Man. It's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Where
Nightcrawler.
no, it's not that.
Jarhead.
That's a good movie, though. Nightcrawler is really good.
Nightcrawler. I was gonna start the podcast. So, how do you guys think about Nightcrawler? Because I think that again. Or
no, but I think what you're saying at your core, though, Raza, is that you're worried that you are so good at just shutting people out of your life. Which, like, how do you do that? I don't know. I don't have that skill. I try, but you're good at being able to like put your box and be like, okay, you're out of the box now. I don't fucking care, and that's a really good. People will look at you and be like, oh, he's so toxic. He just cuts people off all the time and like just gets rid of people. And it's like, I would actually argue that you're actually being the least toxic that you physically can be. Because not only are you saving yourself, could be years of putting yourself into somebody who just ends up not being for you. And there's some people in the world that are just not meant to be your friend, to be your significant other, to be like in your life. And so to say that you're being toxic by shutting these people out, no, you're saving both. You're doing the best thing you can for that person, because if you're not in it, you're not in it. So you're releasing them to go find somebody who wants to be in it with them. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that actually, 100%. Like, cause like I like when I cut out people, I don't feel like as bad as this sounds. I don't feel anything. I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. On to the next thing. I don't feel that void, because I guess I have already gotten over them, and I'm the cutting off point is like that last. It's like the last thing I
yeah. It's not, I hate how people throw around the word toxic when people are just trying to protect themselves. You know, this one time I had somebody who was very important and very pivotal in my life, and they were very, very important to me. And when whatever it was, when it came to an end and we decided to separate from each other, the comment that was made to me was like, oh, if you block or delete me off social media, like, you're immature. And when that happened, my initial response was, okay, so I have to keep this person on social media because I don't want to be immature. I don't want to be seen as the immature person. I'm not immature. Like, it fucked with my head for so long that finally I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? No. Why am I keeping this door open for someone that no, if this person truly wants to find me in the future, they will find me. And so I blocked him on everything, and I was like, that's it. It's you're removed now. You don't need to know what's going on. My number, I haven't blocked you on my number, so you know how to reach me. But it's just like, I need to close that and be like, no, I'm not immature. What I'm doing is I'm saving my peace of mind by removing you from me and removing me from you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like you need your own peace, right? You need to find your own safety and your own
I'm not gonna carry his thought of me. I'm not gonna carry your idea that I am an immature person because I blocked you on a fucking social media site. No, sorry. Bye bye.
Okay, like that quote I just got. The movie is called Demolition. It's about Jake Gyllenhaal's wife. She dies, and it's about him.
Spoiler alerts.
It's about him dealing with that, dealing with that mess. But the quote that stuck out to me was just like, if your life is broken, take it apart like you're taking apart a machine, and look what's broken within. Like, look at the part that is broken. fix it, and then put it all together again, and your life should be running in tip-top order, which is a great analogy because our lives are like a machine in a way. Like
But what if
Yep.
you don't know how the car works? What if you pull it apart and you don't know what part is broken?
Then why are you taking it apart in the first place?
Because you
either
just
go
told
to
me to.
a
I just looked at my
hold up.
life. I went, oh, it's not
Bailey,
perfect. I
you
took
go
the car
to
apart, and now I don't know how the carburetor works, Raza.
So, first of all, people who take apart their car on their own, you usually A, know how to do that. B, they understand the fundamentals of the car, and
Right.
or C, they take it to a mechanic. In your case, another friend, you help him, or a friend who you trust, who you
Or
put
a
your shit
licensed
into.
professional would be a good start.
God damn it, Bailey.
Bailey's trying to come for you for your movie quote, and I his point is valid, but I think what Roz is trying to say is that if you don't take apart the machine, you're not going to see what's broken, and if you don't see what's broken, how can you fix it? Regardless of whether you know how to or not.
Like, yeah, like I don't know
agree.
how to fix a car, and I did the whole thing, and I'm fucking smooth sailing. So I don't know what you're on about.
And none of us
You
knew
need
how
to
to
talk.
make a none of us knew how to make a podcast, and we all still ended up here.
Yeah.
I like how you covered it in.
No, but I think that was a cute topic to round it off on. I think as much as I was teasing you, your quote there like helped really like tie it all up.
Oh,
And
don't worry, next podcast it's gonna be harder on you, so don't worry.
Okay, all right. I'll pick anti-Bailey quotes and have them prepared on the side. I'm ready for it.
I'm gonna have anti-Bailey. I'm gonna have never mind. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I also think people forget that, like, as we get older, every new age that we're experiencing, like every decade of our lives, we haven't experienced it before. All these things we're doing are new. They're all new things. It's all our first time. Like, it's my first time being like 29. It's my first time doing that. That's my first experience of being that age and being in that realm of existence. So like it's going to take me a while to figure it out, and I honestly, a year is not long enough, but that's all I have, right?
Yeah, literally. I like when I turned 28 like a year ago, I was just like I'm 29 now. I'm still not processing the 28th year of my life.
I'm still 25, dude. Like
I'm 12, and that's purely based on my maturity level. That has nothing to do with like growing up, or that is just based on. And Bailey can testify that. But,
testify. All right.
We'll testify.
Well,
all right.
We can stay on our chat time, but I wanted to do a little thank you. So thank you everybody for watching. There's another episode of Same Shit Different Day. You can catch me on Instagram at gnarly_media, NARLEY. We got Raza with a really complicated, hard to spell handle, so you're gonna find that in the description. And then Wine Mom chooses to remain anonymous.
Yes.
And Bingo Bango, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we're gonna be on Twitch Mondays live, 7 p.m. And what we do is we film the show, then we do a little nice stop and chat, which is what you see here. You can chat with us after the show. Ignore the weird alerts because I forgot to clear my chat logs. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week. And then now we can just bullshit. That's where I'm gonna cut the recording.
All right, so I'm like I will leave on this, but I got a haircut today, as if you didn't tell. The guy who got my haircut was weirdly into